can you find a warrant of arrest na ginawa ng lisensya ito na yung KOJC compound, mga pulis na po nakatira, yung cathedral niya ay sinalaula, no? Yung aming eskwelahan ay binutasan, nagiging mining operation na, may namatay na, 59 persons were already arrested. 59 persons were hospitalized. 29 persons were unjustly arrested, no? And so many have already suffered. So sabi ni Pastor, no, he has to voluntarily surrender. And there is a story about this which I would like to inform to you, no. Ang una talagang negotiation dito, admittedly, galing kay Major General Benjamin Silo po, no? Siya po ang nakikipag-usap sa amin para mahanapan sana ng solusyon na maganda po sa lahat, no? But of course, meron pa kasing bossing si si Major General Silo, and I think you know who, si General Marbil, no? So meron siyang parang formula na binigay sa amin, and then nung kasagsagan na talaga, nag-complicate na, noong August 30, nilapitan ko si Governor Edwin Hobahid, kasi kliyente ko rin ng Davao del Norte. Governor, kakilala mo ba yung AFP? Kasi baka pwede mo kami ma-arrange ng meeting. So, ginamit namin yung bahay niya, doon kami nagkakilala, doon sa bahay niya malapit sa airport. And nag-discuss, no, strengthening relationship muna, kilala-kilala. And then there were series of negotiations po with the armed forces of the Philippines. Pero sorry talaga sa isa po, I have to tell the truth, kasi sorry kay General Gambala, sorry talaga kay General yung pinaka-head po, sorry kay General Peralta, sorry kay Colonel Ruiz and Colonel Cabading, no? I have to inform the truth. Sila, their aim is for the stability of the nation, no? They told me na attorney, nakikipag-usap kami sa inyo kasi this is really a possible battleground where the nation might explode. Parang ganun ba? So we want stability po. Pero sabi nila, we have to involve the police kasi they have already poured into a lot of resources there, at saka mapapahiya po sila kung hindi natin sila i-involve, no? So kaya nga po, nung i-shortcut na lang natin, nung September 8, doon ko na lang nalaman na si Pastor pala ay napuslit na doon sa sa compound ulit. I did not even know the specifics how the ISAF was able to assist Pastor in doing that, no? But nung September 8 lang po, tinawagan mga lunchtime na si General Macapas, kasi ang PNP po, kasi yun po ang trusted din nila sa PNP, and that was the first time also ever that I was able to meet General Macapas. In fairness sa kanya, masyadong humble, di mo nga makilala na pulis pala siya, no? Pero general siya. And madali mo siyang maging kaibigan kasi napaka-humble, no? And I believed him na kasi may pag-uusap kami, sir, sana walang media blackout po, at sana later na natin ipaalam kung na-arrange na po lahat, at saka kung po pwede yung extraordinary rendition na naman na hindi siya in fairness doon sa ISAF, parang na namin sa kanila din yan kasi illegal eh. So yun na, tinawagan yung ni Colonel Ruiz ang kanyang boss na baka meron masakyan, no? And nung na-confirm na yung C-130 ay papunta na po sa Davao City, pumasok na po kami doon, mga 4:30 na po. Si General Macapas nga, at saka ako, hindi ko talaga alam kung saan si Pastor at that time. no? At saan namin po ipipick up. And it was only later, medyo dilim na, and meron pa nga kaming agreement na mag-prayer yung what you call this, yung mga flock po, at saka yung mga pulis, dapat wala talagang movement para hindi ma-excite yung attention ng mga media na nandun lang sa tabi-tabi, no? Ang dami nila, no? So, ang nangyari ay there was a little discussion kay Pastor, at doon po sa likod, no? Doon ko lang nakita pala, madali lang pala ito sa likod. Pwede palang ma-exitan doon, no? At papunta na po kami sa Tug. And then, so sa Tug po, sa airport, tapos Old Airport, and then sumakay kami, tapos si General Macapa, sabi sa amin, Sir, si General Marbil kasi, kailangan, maski isa lang talagang picture, proof of life, no? No, so, Sir, sana wala talaga media ha. No, sir, hindi ito lalabas, sabi ni General Macapa. So nagpicture, medyo yung mukha ko doon parang antok na antok ba, no? Pagod na pagod, no? So yun, lumarga yung plane. Pagdating sa Manila, nagpusot-pusot yung mga text messages kasi si Secretary Abalos na pala, nag-post na pala. I was shocked. Bakit ito, General? Sabi ko, di ko talaga alam yan. Sorry talaga. Kasi pinadala ko lang yung kay General Marbil. So, yan na po. Paglabas namin dun sa C-130, naku, may mga cameras na. Sabi naman sa amin, Sir, bakit naman may mga cameras? Di ba ang agreement natin, total media blackout. Sa PIO lang namin yan. Wala na kaming magawa. So, sumakay sa coaster, yung camera pa niya, sige lang ganun-ganun sa amin ni Pastor. Tabi kami ni Pastor palagi hanggang doon na po sa Camp Crame. Yun po, voluntary surrender po yun, no? It showed Pastor's willingness to submit to the law, no? And answer for the offense charge. And under jurisprudence, it is not considered an arrest. So, yun po ang nangyari.
Attorney Dina, would you like to add?
Yes. I would like to state that it was not an arrest because at the time that this happened, Pastor was not yet under the authority of the police. He was the one who voluntarily went to them, as stated by Attorney Torion, and he was the one who showed himself to them. So hindi ho yun siya na-aresto. Siya ho yung nag-voluntarily surrender. Kasi wala pa ho siya na-aresto ng police. Now, if they can show proof that they in fact arrested him, okay sana. But at the time that it happened, he was the one who approached them voluntarily. Yun lang po.
Attorney Dina, Attorney Kay, Ma'am Lorraine, gusto po nating ilinaw ito because the PNP is now twisting after a day of na-abort ang kanilang malubhang terorismo at hindi lumala. Nag-submit si Pastor voluntarily sa armed forces. Attorney, tinitwist nila na all along correct sila sa kanilang palpak na intelligence and bulok na information na binibenta sa kanila, pati mga equipment nila ginamit na millions of pesos, na si Pastor all along was inside the compound. But because of your narration, we would like to ask you again, based on the actual events narrated by you, it appears na wala si Pastor sa loob ng compound ng KOJC mula August 24 pa na nilusob ito hanggang sa nag-voluntary surrender siya. Tama ba, Attorney?
Yes, wala siya doon, no? And to highlight the fact, no, na hindi talaga alam ng mga kapulisan, bakit pa sila naghukay ng napakalalim 8 meters, no? At saka siguro sila, yun daw ang heartbeat, no? Tapos naghukay pa sila, dininay pa, at sinabihan pa ako na that is an allegation, tapos Photoshop yan. Nung narinig ko yun, challenge ko yung media, sama kayo, puntahan natin. Una, yung mga media, especially yung mainstream, hindi. Ayaw pumasok sa akin. Ayaw sumama sa akin. So, and then, during that time, kaagad yung mga pulis, hinarang.
Barikada.
Barikada kaagad. Pero nung sinabi niya parang day 13 ata yun, no? Pinasok ko na talaga yung kasama yung mga media. O kasi sabi niya, sigurado daw siya na wala talagang hukay. Bigla na lang, nung pumasok kami, kita niyo naman yun, they blocked us. Punta na naman ako sa kabilang punta na naman ako sa ibang entrance. They blocked me, klaro. And what is the message there? No? That the PNP really does not know where Pastor was because during that time, wala pa si Pastor dyan. Kung definite ka sa location na nandun sa Bible school, bakit ka maghukay-hukay dyan? Bakit mo i-control yung cathedral at nag-hule ka pa dun? Meaning, ang ibig mo ba sabihin, sadya mong sinira yan? Oo. At you knew all along kung saan si Pastor and then sisirain mo yung eskwelahan, no? So, it shows really na hindi niya alam. Nung first nga, na-interview siya right on September 8, hindi nga niya alam yung details. So, yun po ang katotohanan. Pero, sa kabaitan po ng ISAF, no? Kasi gusto nila yung stability talaga ng bansa. No, binigay sa kanila ang credit, no? At pinili na ipinuslit uli si Pastor doon kay para to save their faces. Oo. Si Pastor naman ang pinapili ng location. Ito kasi yung yung favorite place nila to search, no? Nasyak na lang ako doon nakita sa likod nun yung place na yon. And that's the story behind it. Whether they twist it or not, yun po ang nangyari.
So, ibig sabihin po, mga kababayan, malinaw that Pastor voluntarily submitted himself to the storyline ng PNP para pagtakpan ang tatlong bagay. Ang kanilang human rights violations sa kapalpakan ng impormasyon, ang terorismo nila sa mga sibilyan, at ang maling pagpapatupad sa warrant of arrest. At in spite of the millions of funds and resources, hindi nila nakita si Pastor sapagkat wala doon. Ang dinahas nila, mga sibilyan. Ngayon, para lang maisalba ang pagbumuka ni Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa kanyang baluktot na mga inutos, sa kanyang robot na ginawang mga unit pangguns at panghudlom, sorry for the word, sa mga matitinong pulis. Sa Davao, sa pangunguna ni Abalos, ni Marbil, at ni Torre, kailangan nilang kumbinsihin si Pastor, but they do not need to do that. But because Pastor already submitted, sabi ni Atty. Torion, sa AFP kung ano ang makakaayos at makakapagbigay ng kapanatagan sa mga security forces, yun ang gawin. Pumayag siya na lumabas ang story that he was inside compound nang mag-surrender siya. Pero sabi ni Atty. Torion na very private sa kaganapang ito, Pastor could have insisted na doon ako sa Camp Aguinaldo magpakita at doon ako magpapahayag ng statement ko. He could have done that. Kasi pwede niyang gawin yon. At malamang sa malamang, papayag ang Intelligence Service of the Armed Forces of the Philippines out of goodwill of the negotiation na nagtiwala si Pastor sa kanila. Pero pumayag pa rin si Pastor na magpailalim doon sa intent ng Armed Forces at ng ISAF na huwag magkaroon ng krisis sa pagitan ng PNP at AFP. At nasunod po ang diskarte ng PNP para isalba ang pagbumuka ni Marcos, ni Abalos, ni Marbil at ni Torre. Ngayon, lumalabas pa na masama ang KOGC sapagkat kinanlong nila si Pastor Kibuloy, at dahil dyan, kung hindi pa daw kinubkob at ginamitan ng puwersa, hindi pa nila ilalabas si Pastor Kibuloy.
That's why, that's why tama talaga si Pastor in trusting the AFP. I mean, if there's one thing that should be very clear to our people, tama talaga na nagtitiwala tayo sa ating mga kasundaluhan. And Pastor recognizes that, which is why sa kanya lang, sa AFP lang siya gustong mag-surrender, no? At yung parang saving face na ginagawa, no, na nakisama na lang siya diyan. And imagine, no, it's an organization that doesn't need credit for the sake of our country, which is wonderful to see, which is so comforting to see at a time like this, when you see like this mga politicians na mga bulok, that all they need is the credit, no? And they rub salt into our wounds by constantly lying to the Filipino people. And what I want to ask also is, why do you think Eric, attorneys, the Attorney Torian, Attorney Dinah, and Attorney Kay, why do you think why is Abalos and Torre and Marcos so hell-bent on claiming credit? Bakit ganon? What are the reasons? And one of those things for me is that they want to justify the atrocities that they did there,
that's why.
and they're bumbling, no? From the almost 8,000 personnel na police and all the resources that they spent bumbling their way there. Na what were the police doing there apart from hitting people? Nagkakamot sila ng tiyan nila, no? While all over the country they were needed, and yet in that small piece of land there were 8,000 policemen. So of course they need to justify why they did that, and the wholesale violation of our constitutional rights by Bongbong Marcos that he himself approved of, and he's even proud of it, no? And it's almost pathetic to look at this president. Talagang parang clueless, parang kung ano lang isubo mo, yan ang sasabihin niya. So that's one of those reasons for me that I see, no, they need to justify, well, apart from the political ambitions again of these people na sila Abalos, we all know that he's going to run. So they all need this preening and you juxtapose that with the AFP that is so selfless, diba? That they don't need the credit, and in fact they were the ones pa who tried to put things together for the sake of the country. So this is why the Filipinos trust our soldiers and why Pastor surrendered to them.
Attorney Dinah.
I think based on what has been happening, they had to justify the huge, enormous costs
Yeah.
that they incurred in all of this, as Dr.
Bumbling,
Badoy said.
incompetent
So,
fools.
To justify pulling out police forces from other areas of the country, leaving these areas open to possible criminality, increased criminality. So they had to do this so that they could cover up all these things that they did. Sayang naman ho yung ginastos nila in terms of K9, in terms of that proton elic, in terms of that heartbeat monitor,
Heartbeat.
in terms of getting police even from region 3, 4, as far as Zamboanga City. They had to do that.
9 regions.
9 regions. Kasi kung hindi
Imagine.
nila gagawin yon, talagang tatanungin sila ng tao. So now they're trying to divert the story by saying, oh, because of what we did, we were able to get Pastor. But how can you justify police forces from 9 regions for 16 days using how much?
30 million a day.
30 million a
Maybe
day,
even more
estimate.
than that.
more.
Even so
or
much
even
more.
more. But
Yeah.
that's just an estimate. Ha? So can you imagine 30 million a day times 16?
Almost 500 million. Saba billion.
Yes. And how can you justify 500 million for 16 days? I do not know if we even spent, if they even put that many soldiers in Marawi.
No, even in Mamasapano.
Oh, in
Imagine.
Mama Sapano, it was just the SAP
Even in West
44.
Philippine Sea.
Yes.
Even in the West Philippine Sea.
Yes.
No?
So this one, and this person is not even convicted yet. Hindi pa siya convicted po. He still has to go trial.
Could you kindly please underline that and really tell us what that means, that presumption of innocence, because Pastor is being treated like a criminal by the government. Are they stupid? Do they not know what it means when there's a presumption of innocence?
Yeah. Attorney Dinah, please.
Stupid
Okay.
people.
This is a constitutional provision. Under the Bill of Rights, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So this means, dapat may trial po. Hindi pa nga ho nagta-trial. Kasi hindi pa nga ho nagsusurrender si Pastor at the time. So until then, he is entitled to this constitutional presumption that hindi siya kriminal. He is just accused of a crime. That's why accused ho ang tawag sa kanya. Hindi ho kriminal. And that is what I cannot understand. Why are they trying to paint Pastor that he is already a criminal when his case has not even undergone trial yet?
He's so vilified,
Yeah.
no?
So yan po.
Attorney Torian, sir, sa question na yun ni Ma'am Lorraine, why the enormous use of resources and personnel never seen before in any other targets of police operations or warrant serving, and monstrosity and brutality like they are state terrorist machinery never seen observed even doon sa panahon ng martial law, sa lumang martial law ng tatay niya.
Yeah, and why do they find the need to credit grab? Why do they find the need to do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, ang sa tingin ko, we can only
Disgusting
speculate, no,
behavior.
because we are not the president, no. Maybe he wants to drive home a point that Davao City is one of the best cities in the world. It's the most peaceful one. Yet this is the hometown of the Dutertes. No? Yun lang ang
my
aking
gosh.
tingin po dito. And Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy happens to be the best friend of the good president. So we have to show our might. We have to show our power. Yan lang po. Pwede ako magkamali kasi hindi na po yan legal. It is already my opinion already on the matter, pero yan po ang nakikita ko. Tsaka kailangan bigyan tayo ng show, no? Bakit kailangan bigyan tayo ng show? Para siguro may mga tago po siguro ng mga ibang mga bagay. Concentrate lang tayo dun.
Yeah.
Hindi na mapag-usapan yung ibang mga bagay. But of course,
Yeah, to
that's
distract.
already beyond legal. I may be mistaken.
Ma'am, dagdagan ko lang ma'am sa Attorney Torian, ma'am. Malinaw po na pagpasok ng Administrasyong Marcos, hindi po matino ang kanyang pamamahala. At hindi po makikita ng mamamayan na siya lamang ang nagdi-discharge ng pangsyon ng pagka-presidente niya. Ang langoy ng kanyang asawa, ng kanyang pinsan, ng kanyang mga alipores, ng kanyang DOJ secretary, the abuse of the levers of power and the authorities ng pagka-presidente niya created, kung si Bobby Tiglao pa, failed state for the Philippines through a miserable failure of governance. Ibig sabihin po, may problema sa pamumuno. Anong resulta? 16 million Filipinos ang nadagdag sa nagugutom na pamilya araw-araw just in a matter of 2 years ni Marcos. Sumirit ng todo-todo by 38% ang inflation difference sa loob ng 2 taon versus sa last 2 years ni Duterte. At dahil dyan, hindi halos makaagapay sa presyo ng bigas, pagkain, serbisyo, kuryente, tubig, ang income ng taong bayan at ng manggagawa, magsasaka at mga ordinaryong milyong-milyong Pilipino bumagsak by 32% in a matter of 18 months ni Marcos. Ibig sabihin po, nawalan ng income, nawalan pa ng kabuhayan at trabaho ang mamamayan. Tapos, napipinto po ang digma-digmaan niya sa China. Lahat ng ito ay gusto niyang tabunan na ang kapalpakan at ang paglawak ng paglugmok ng ekonomiya at ang paglala ng maagang laro niya sa maruming politika, kailangan niya magkaroon ng diversion show. At nakita niya na oportunidad ang Davao. Binanggit kanina ni Attorney Torion ang Duterte political forces na gusto niyang durugin at ng Amerika na hindi na makabalik at muling maging national leaders, at si Pastor Kibuloy na gusto din ng Estados Unidos na wag pong lumawak ang kanyang ministry work sa iba't ibang parte ng Amerika, kung kaya inimbintuhan siya ng intrigang mga kaso para putulin po ito. Imagine ang umahabol kay Pastor Kibuloy, buong gobyerno ni Marcos na gustong pagtakpan ang kanyang mga kapalpakan at kabulukan, at ang weight of anti-terrorism units ng Amerika, hindi lang FBI, yung US Treasury Department Office of Foreign Assets Control, wala pa pong ginawa na ganyan ang Amerika except kay Pastor, at least in our record, na hinabol ng OFAC ng US Treasury Department. Mga kababayan, iyon pong dahilan kung bakit malubha ang intensity ng paglabag sa karapatang pantao at utilization and employment of state terrorism forces using the PNP because of that. At ang isa, ma'am, syempre, kailangan before mag-2025 at 2028, walang puwersang matitira sa mga sumusuporta sa Duterte and even the Duterte. Bakit? Pagkatapos sa KOGC at kay Pastor Kibuloy, nakaambang ang warrant of arrest for non-bailable offense sa kay Mans Carpio na asawa ng Vice Presidente, kay Pulong Duterte na congressman, at kay Sir Allen Capuyan na kinasuhan nila ng gawa-gawang kaso ng drug trafficking, at ito'y pang-iskandalo. At kung makatsamba, mukhang tsatsambahin ni Boying Rimulya, iakyat sa korte, non-bailable offense ito. At ang iskandalo niyan laban sa Vice Presidente, siyempre asawa niya ito eh. May kaso ito ngayon at mukhang iakyat nga ng DOJ. At kay Tatay Digong Duterte din, gusto nilang kumalma ang mga Duterte at I agree with Attorney Torion, the KOJC and Pastor Kibuloy na kaso has been made as a showcase na ganito ang mangyayari at kaya naming gawin.